Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. So today I wanted to talk about this question. What do emotions mean? So I'll get to that in a minute. In a different location, the lake is that way. Just got this hill behind me, figured I'd shoot in a different location. So take a couple of nice deep breaths. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the noise. Got a construction boy across the lake. They're doing some building inside of one of the homes. All right. So, what do emotions mean? Emotions basically, in my opinion, have no meaning other than the meaning you get to assign to it. So what the heck am I talking about? What do you mean they mean nothing, right? You get to define what emotions mean. My examples. If I would get angry many years ago, a couple decades ago, I would think to myself, that means that I'm an asshole like my father. Period. End of story. Boom. That's it. That was my meaning for anger or rage. Now, sadness or depression meant I was going down the mental illness route like my mother, her two brothers, and her mother. So from my mother's side of the family, there was a good bit of clinical depression with medication, psychiatrists, sometimes mental hospitals. So in my opinion, sadness and depression meant that I was mentally ill or was going down that path. And so with these defined meanings, it's very easy to see why growing up and as adults, we resist and push away these emotions at all costs. We fear the emotions, we resist them, we repress them, sometimes subconsciously, sometimes conscious suppression. But in either case, Dr. Sarno theorized that these repressed negative emotions were the underlying cause of this thing he called TMS, or tension myositis syndrome. He theorized that the brain perceived those emotions as dangerous because of these meanings that we've assigned to them, and therefore would protect us from these emotions with something physical like pain. He used the word distract. I don't know how we determine whether or not your brain and my brain and everybody else's brain with TMS is in a distraction mode. I like the term protection because it correlates back to the purpose of pain. The purpose of pain is to protect you from something your brain perceives as dangerous, right? That's the purpose of pain. So what do emotions mean? Well, if you believe that emotions mean you're crazy, out of control, dangerous, an asshole like your father, or mentally ill like, the people from one side of your family, what do you think your brain's going to do with these emotions? Going to push them away, resist them, repress them. So if we want to turn off this perceived danger from emotions, in my opinion, the best way to do that is to actually learn through practice and repetition to actually feel your emotions now, your right now emotions. And I know I differ from many of the folks in the mind-body TMS community because a lot of them say, you got to journal about your past. You got to go find that old stuff. You got to go get it. And in my experience, that was never my answer. Never solved anything. I dredged up everything from my past, including the times right before my pain started. That wasn't the answer for me. And I know lots and lots of people who've been doing that, been going to therapy, on medication, dealing with journaling for years. They're still not better. And they've excavated their past over and over and over again, multiple times. So, I don't believe you're going to find some long-lost emotion from third grade that's going to turn off the switch and shut off your pain. I've met very, very few people who had that emotional release of finding a long-lost experience, an old trauma, experiencing it, and poof, symptoms were gone. I think it's much more important and relevant for us to really learn that emotions have no meaning, they're not dangerous. And for anybody who says, no, they are very much dangerous, there's lots of people with mental illness that would argue with you to the death because that's what they believe. And anytime they feel an emotion, their brain kind of freaks out. But what if you could teach the brain that emotions are safe? Because for as many people as there are who may have mental illness who believe emotions are dangerous, there's just as many, probably more so, 2/3 of the population, that can experience emotions without the freak out, right? So, emotions are not dangerous, and they don't have to mean anything. You get to define the meaning of your emotions. So wouldn't it make sense, if you want the brain to perceive emotions as safe, to define the meaning about you if you feel emotions as, I'm having a human experience today, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm pissed off, I'm sad, I'm jealous, I'm ashamed, I feel guilty, I'm feeling grief, right? If we frame it so that we believe these emotions make us a normal human being, what do you think the brain's going to do with this warning signal called pain anytime you experience an emotion that the brain previously thought was dangerous? It's going to be less likely for the brain to turn on that warning signal called pain if it no longer perceives these emotions as dangerous. So in my opinion, the best way to teach the brain that emotions are safe, do the reframe. I'm a normal human being experiencing normal human emotions. And then, simply put, feel them. To prove to your brain that, hey look, I just felt some really intense emotions and nothing bad happened. I guess they are safe. The brain will eventually realize that with repetition. And so reframe it. Emotions are not dangerous. They just mean I'm a normal human being experiencing normal human emotions. Literally, they're not dangerous unless you decide they are, unless you believe they are based on your past experience with them. But our past experience doesn't have to be our future. We can learn to feel emotions without the world collapsing into chaos. So reframe it. Normal human experience. Doesn't make me crazy, broken, damaged, weak, out of control, big baby, nothing. Just means I'm normal. And then the goal is to feel the emotions. So I always talk about in my course and program, be aware of your emotional state. And when you are feeling, for lack of a better word, emotional, give yourself the presence and the permission to experience it and feel it, so that your brain can learn nothing bad happened. They just felt some intense emotions. I guess they're okay. And it can turn down the need to protect you from these overwhelming, scary, and perceived as dangerous emotions. So that's what I've got for you today. Reasonably short video. Love you guys and gals. Hope you enjoyed the view of the woods behind me here. So I will see you tomorrow, and take care.